This video discusses how to do a webhook in relation to things that are going on during calls by setting that up in the offer. So in the offer here, I'm going to come in and do the webhooks here. Now a webhook, let's say I'm going to use it for the purpose of updating link trust on every single call. Okay, so I might say update link trust that a call happened. Now in that situation, I'm going to, on every single call when the call ends, I'm going to fire a click or maybe even an impression pixel to link trust to tell them that a call happened for a particular traffic source. So I'd create that webhook and then I'd put in the URL and post or get. I think link trust is I would do my blah blah blah. So I'm not going to key in a real thing here, but it would be something to the effect of domain.com click.ashx. I don't remember what it is exactly, question mark. Then I'll send stuff in like aff_id equals and then pick the traffic source ID. So alphabetically here, we are going to improve our webhook wizard and the token selection things here for you, because you can see when you have quite a few things as you're playing around that it's tough to find what you're looking for. So I actually don't see traffic source ID here, right here, so we'll do traffic source ID. Oops. And sub ID equals and sub ID. Anything here, basically whatever the real posting instructions are to get to any system, you would do it pretty simple. So I might key in something like that to say, hey, on every single call, go ahead and update link trust. Then I'm going to come in here and say, hey, update link trust when a call converts. And let's say I'm doing the step, using steps on my offer. So I might post in to the main offer what the traffic source payout is if the traffic source converted. So I say the trigger is the call ends and the traffic source did convert, send something to link trust, and maybe I update the main offer with, hey, that converted. Then I add in another webhook that says, hey, when the call ends and the buyer converted, I'm going to update the step of the offer in the campaign, I should say, for link trust, the step of the campaign, so that we know that they which buyer. We're going to update the step with the buyer that took the call. So in link trust, I might be setting up a click or an impression to indicate a call happened, then separately updating the payout to the main offer for the traffic source and to a step for the buyer. Same thing with Cake and their goals, and has offers with goals and Cake and anything. You can interface to any system this way in an outwardly facing webhook. But what's most common on webhooks is that your buyer is saying, hey, I need you to send me some data. So I say, okay, send data to health 5 during call. I tell the system these bottom two are the only two that fire during the call. The rest of them really wait for the call to end, because you might be trying to fire that a call is happening, but you want the total duration of the call to be part of that webhook. So we really have to wait till the end of the call for that to happen. But you can fire during the call after the buyer was dialed or after the buyer answers. Just so you know, most phone systems out there cannot pick up data after they answer, so you do have to fire the call while you fire the data while you're transferring the call. So this is usually the option you pick to get to a buyer in time. However, if they do have the ability to pick up the data after they answered, that way you won't have exposed data. That'll be more beneficial to you. Okay, so I would say fire the call during the call after the buyer's dialed. Then I go to manage filters. I go to the buyer or buyers and pick the ones I'm trying to do. So let's say these guys are all the same company. They just had to have different buyer records. I could pick them all and say, hey, I'm trying to fire this webhook when this buyer is getting the call transferred to them. So this list of buyers here, I come in and say confirm, and then when I create that, I can now put in my webhook. Now the webhook itself can be a get or a post, pretty standard, and everything would be in the query string. Now just keep in mind, post, sometimes the post stuff does have to be in the body. So if someone's telling you that the URL is is one piece, and sometimes there's actually the path, that's everything before the question mark, and everything after the question mark is the query string. Sometimes they'll even have a couple of fields in the query string, but then need in the post body the rest of the fields. So if you do have a post that needs things in the body, it wouldn't be in JSON or XML format, just the other things like insured equals yes, and first name equals John, and last name equals Doe. They might want that information in the post body. When you're doing a get, it is always just in the URL. And if you're doing a post that they can take everything in the query string, it would just be in the URL as well. Just so you know, because so many people try this, there's a difference between a post and a get, obviously. And when you post something in the web browser URL, the address bar, into the when you post a URL into the address bar of a browser, excuse me, that is a get. And some systems, when you're trying to post data to them, will accept either a post or a get. But not all systems do that, so you do have to know exactly what you're doing and pick the right method, get or post. Okay. If you are doing JSON or XML, you put the path here, the headers here, and then the JSON format in the body here, or the XML format, and that's how you create it. So you can interface to anyone in our system hourly using the triggers and of the webhooks. So that's how you set up a webhook. In the offer, we do also have webhooks in our schedules, trigger at different times. But these things are happening when a call is happening or when a call just finishes.